Hello and welcome to How to Design a Puzzle Box video 3. In this video we're going to discuss the designing of these walls. They will be prone to change, but this will at least be the starting point as to what it's going to look like for these components to work together. So first thing you're going to notice is there is utilization of the detailing we did in the last video. And I'm going to kind of go through how this is going to work. And let's start off by looking at these front red walls. So here you can see that this wall is going to actually look a little different than what it appears to look like in the actual component. You'll see that there's actually a gap that runs along the diameter of the part. And the reason for that is just for fits reasons. So if we go back here, essentially what I did is I measured from the center point to center point to get the wall length, and then I did the detailing to match what I had for the actual blocks and block and pin portion. So this block I made it smaller than the outside dimensions I had on the previous video, and then on this portion I made it the diameter 10 thou smaller than the outside diameter. Upon doing that, what I did is I cut away some material. So I extruded this one, and then I cut a bunch of the material out to get rid of it. And then what I actually did after that was I did the detailing here. So this is me designing the components of the other walls to fit. So I essentially made it so that it was 1/16 of an inch minus 5 thou, which is 10 thou in total. And that allowed me to have the gap so that the other part will fit in there fairly tightly. And then essentially what I did is I centered the wall and I made it 10 thou thicker, and then this is what the wall would be that's going to fit on the side walls. So once I did that, it essentially made the cutout as so, and then I also made a bit of a bottom portion so that it actually bumps up to something instead of just having nothing there. That's completely optional. I just wanted something for it to print in case I do decide to print it on this face, or if I want to I can print it on this face, but then it still closes up. It also gives a little bit more rigidity since this is an open spot. It'll make it so that there's less of a chance of it breaking when you print it, which is the other reason why I did that. So then the other thing I did here is you can see, that's the wrong sketch. You can see here is I did the same thing again. I made this 0.26 and then I made this 0.135. So those are both 10 thou bigger, and extruded it through. So let's take a look at the other wall and then see how these fit together. So here you can see the other components, the side walls so to speak, and these were much simpler to make. So if I go back to the start, what I did is I made the wall center to center of the pins here, the width, and then the height being the same, which is about 3.5 inches. I then added the detailings here. So essentially what I did is I knew that the components were 1/4 of an inch and 0.1875, and I essentially extruded that down the distance that it would be from the top of here to the bottom of here, which is 1.4375. So I made it that distance, and then the last thing I did is I actually just extrude cutted it. And the way that I did this is I knew that from the center of the pin to the outside of that pin that's on the bottom, which is from here to out, I knew that it was going to be 0.25, so I added an extra 10 thou, which cut that away, and I did it to the bottom of this piece here, and that's what essentially allowed me to have the gap that you can see there. So that's essentially how I made this piece. So let's take a look at the assembly and see how this actually comes together now. So here you can see the components actually disassembled. So there's two ways that this can be done. One is you could actually fit the walls together first, which is another benefit of having this bottom. And then that would essentially look something like this. And then you can slide it into the actual pins. But what I would actually probably do in this case is I'd slide the red portions in first to create the alignments, and then I would slide the yellow portions in second. So then essentially if we take a look at that, all the components unsuppressed, you'd essentially have all 4 walls put together so that you have your starting of this puzzle box that's becoming a little bit more of an actual box now. So I hope that helped. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments. Otherwise, this is Tyler with 3D Printer Store, and I hope you have a great day.